Hello and welcome everybody, I am your humble host Gavin the Kitty, and today we are going to be playing Mega Man 3 for NES. There we go. I might need to turn up the game just a smidge. There we go. How's the audio, everybody? I need to also reset the game because you guys missed the opening. So, oh boy. And my little thing is behind. There we go. So today is a little bit different. Instead of the Legacy Collection for this first title here, we will be doing an improvement patch. I did my best to make this look like the Legacy Collection because, you know, I wanted to stay consistent. And while I've beaten this on the Legacy Collection, most people don't know the story behind Mega Man 3 and just think it's more of the same, which is fair, very fair. But it's not. It's a little different. 4 of the Robot Masters are out in space, and the other 4 are on Earth, and Wily is not your main bad at first, and that's pretty much it. But this patch improves just about everything, including the gameplay. Any glitches were taken out. You know, the game runs better, it looks better, it's not going to be chugging or flickering nearly as much. I did one practice run last night, I did another one a couple days ago for the NES on the Legacy Collection version, which also runs better, but it's not quite up to snuff. I just think this is just all around a better version of the game. So, let's just jump right in. Karmic says, Meg! Karmic, if you could answer me on whether audio is good, that would be fantastic. It's just going to be me for a little bit today. Casey is struggling to read a map. And by struggling to read a map, I mean she's struggling to use Google Maps. So that was doofy. To top things off with things not being totally authentic today is I am using a TurboGrafx 16 controller with this game. Struggling to read a map. Yes, they told me they'd be here at 3. They have been walking mostly the wrong way and are now is now 4 miles away from my house. I don't even have words to describe how dumb that sounds. Like, it sounds like I've had to have been making this up. So, chat reading is going to be a little slow at first. To go along with the improvement patch, we also have hot swapping of weapons. You're going to see that a little bit today, but it's mapped to select, so... And if you know anything about the NES or TurboGrafx controllers, select's a little out of the way for your right thumb and a lot out of the way for your left one. So, I mean, I could always curl around my index finger, but I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. Anyways, how is the chat doing today? How is everyone holding up? Because I'm doing quite alright today, minus the lack of a co-host. Bruh indeed, Karmic. Bruh indeed. You're a Goaf? Goaf. I love that. I like that. Goaf. Hello, KE949. Welcome. You're right on time for today. Hopefully we'll be seeing other people as we continue here. We're also going to be doing Mega Man 4, so do not worry. Cuddly Kong, hello, welcome. You say, first time realizing that you're a kitty dragon. Yes, I am. Thank you for noticing. Did everybody just think that I wasn't? Aw. How cute, you guys. Yeah. Dragon insides, kitty exterior. That's how it functions. As you can see, there's quite a bit less sprite flicker here than what's normal, and there's a lot less lag, thanks to the upgraded CPU chip inside of the NES. So instead of working with NES hardware, we're kind of working with TurboGrafx hardware a little bit, so that's kind of why I chose the TurboGrafx controller here. But yes, as the new people are coming in, how are you guys holding up today? The bottom screen here jitters a little bit. I think that has something to do with the improvement patch trying to fix things, and I think it's partially the CPU speed not quite being exact. But it only happens on the stage select, and it's still less buggy than it was before on the NES, because on the NES, it's, there's one line of stray pixels that change colors every now and again, because they couldn't line up the background properly with the sliding movement. So that's something I should probably talk about, is the development history of this game. This game is an enigma in so many ways. So, after Mega Man 2's development, Mega Man 3 went into production. It was the last game for the main director, and they passed hands off to Keiji Inafune. Most of the Mega Man 2 team is stuck making Street Fighter. And a lot of the new hands on deck that they got for Mega Man 3 had never made an NES game before. And a lot of deadlines weren't hit properly. So some backgrounds didn't appear properly, a lot of deadlines weren't hit, some boss patterns were broken, some palettes and tiles were glitchy, and not everything from the dev doc made it in. Proto Man was supposed to have a completely different pattern, not just the whole jump, shoot twice, and then jump. Originally it was more dynamic, and it was supposed to be reading your slide to better make the fight kind of combo with you. However, since it wasn't in the original game's code, they didn't choose to add it in here. Top Spin was another weapon that was very broken our first time around. So on the Mega Man 3, they programmed Top Spin based on enemy health. So it would take out how much health the enemy has based on how long you held the button and how much health the enemy had. Which is great until you realize this is a boss's weakness, and it's going to lead to some issues if you don't program that properly. Some people run out of top spin at the boss, other people don't. Here, we are not going to even come close. But that was Shadow Man. Oh boy. Most of these bosses are a hybrid between Wily and Light, of course, but Shadow Man was one that was actually found. He is part of the Star Droid line of space bots. But minus that little addition, we are now off to Gemini Man because we got Rush Marine. And I like Rush Marine. I'm going to show you guys my favorite thing about Rush Marine. This space background here, completely original. The Saturn background there, that's new. And the stars parallax scrolling is also slightly new. They didn't properly scroll on the NES. They all just kind of scrolled naturally. Insta-kills, it kills instantly, exactly. I'm gonna try not to take too many deaths here. We're not gonna need to rewind a whole lot in this game, believe it or not. I'm fairly good at 3, so when it comes to 3 and 4, we're gonna see a lot of really interesting trivia. Hello, Chronobird! Honestly, it's still a fun game. Absolutely. I'm gonna be pointing out a lot of things that make this version a little different, but I think that, honestly, Mega Man 3 is still worth checking out. I wouldn't be playing it if it wasn't, but I feel like most of the Mega Man series is. Here's another little secret. Proto Man just blows this up and leaves beforehand, but now we have him turning into Breakman, And you get a nice showcase of that. We're gonna go ahead and take that live. My current world record on lives, because I think it is hilarious to keep a tally of extra lives that you have. Especially for 3, because they just hand these out like candy. My current record is 13. So if anybody has any more than 13 lives, good on you. I'm gonna try to beat that today. This stage is great for grinding extra lives, too. But yeah, no, the NES trilogy of Mega Man games, 1, 2, and 3 are always good, but 3 and 4 are a big juxtaposition for most people. Alright, especially when it comes to glitchiness, because it's the same team who worked on 4 and 3, but you can tell after 3 that they had to hunker down and tighten up. And Mega Man 4, oh man. We're going back to the Legacy Collection for 4, so yeah, it'll be cool. So, let's show off Rush Marine and the hot swapping. There's another animation. Rush opening his mouth. That doesn't happen on the original NES version. It is completely broken. But that is my favorite glitch right there. I'm gonna show you guys how slick you can make this whole area. Or at least I tried. Anyways. So chat, how are you guys holding up? Anything interesting happening with you guys? Are you gonna go see the Mario movie? I absolutely am, but it won't be until Saturday or Sunday, so bear with me on spoilers. I'm sorry. I have heard a few things. I've heard some good stuff, but I'm not fully sold yet. So here's how I like to beat Gemini Man. Once I get low in health, I use knee tank. I do not think about it. I try to turbo fire as much as possible. And I try to only get hit by Gemini Man's shots. He jumps every time you shoot, so do not be scared to just do that. There's his laser on the original version. That lagged the game because it was multiple different sprite sets layered on top of each other, and all moving at their own pace. So essentially it was like having 7 of them on screen. Increasing the CPU power stops it from lagging, but they also reprogrammed it so that way then it would, you know, hit properly. What version of the game is there? What version of the game is this? Wasn't here at the start. This is what's known as Mega Man 3 Improvement Patch. It is an NES hack that takes all of the dormant code and unused stuff from Mega Man 3 and re-puts it back in with some bug fixes and changes. So, you get all of the benefits of playing Mega Man 3 with none of the downsides. So, we're gonna see different background tiles in some areas, some additions in some spots, hot swapping weapons on select, which is a lovely addition I like to show off every now and again. And yes, it does work on real hardware. This is honestly the best version of Mega Man 3 to play. The best official one to play is probably either the Complete Works on the PlayStation or the Legacy Collection, just due to the turbo speed increase. But some of these fixes were in the Complete Works variation. So, that's where some of the bug fixes come from. Others come from just, you know, fans getting to know the NES and programming things the way they were meant to on the dev docs. Things could always be better, though, so I don't want to say this is a definitive version, but it is a good version to play. Mega Man 3 is one of those NES titles where even if it is a little buggy, it doesn't feel bad to play, and it doesn't play bad. So it's not, I'm not gonna shame anybody for wanting to play the original version. There's a bug that's still in. It's in nearly every version of the game. If your screen is scrolling while you slide on one of those blocks, you get jutted backwards a couple pixels. No, I don't know what causes it. I think it's just that the block hasn't settled yet. There's that. I'm also going to be trying to use the weapons as much as possible because the Mega Man 3 weapons are a bit underrated. Specifically, Gemini Laser, Spark Shot, and Top Spin. All three of those weapons are not bad weapons at all, but the more, like, people barely use them because they're not quite as useful as everything else. Like, Spark Shot doesn't do any damage. Gemini Laser lags the game, and it's hard to hit with because it lags the game. It's slow. And Top Spin, you can be damaged while you are spinning, so it's a little harder to hit with because you have to be just on the edge of your hitbox. Here, it's not nearly as bad, but it does still happen from time to time. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and move up to Needleman here. Rush Jet was not changed from its original version here. If chat wants any, if you guys ever want to experience Mega Man 3's story without any of the real strangeness of the NES version, there's also the amazing Archie comic where they did the full run of Mega Man 3 in 8 issues, and it was really well done. And it's got an amazing comic dub that you can watch here on YouTube. I'd recommend getting the comics, but they're starting to get expensive. So, hooray for comic dubbers. They've been doing a great job. Oh, this stage is okay. Another great way to experience some of the stuff that Mega Man 3 brings is this amazing soundtrack. The Megas did a version of this soundtrack with complete lyrics, and it is just great. I really like the way that this song goes in their version of it, because it talks about Needleman not really wanting to hurt anybody, and how he's just scary from the outside. It's in the design, it's not actually who he is. Believe it or not, Needleman is a rather docile bot who prefers to knit and sew things. He was more of an experimental bot than anything else. So, do not be scared of the Needleman. Those Crusher dudes aren't too bad. Needleman's not a hard fight either. This is one that some people don't know. Believe it or not, if you don't do anything, he doesn't do anything. Just like another bot we will see later on in today's stream when we do Mega Man 4. So, yeah. Once again, I'm sorry I don't have Casey with me today. She is struggling to read a map, as I think that's going to be my inside joke for a bit. But now we have Needle Cannon and Rush Jet. I think we're going to move over to Magnet next, and we're going to save Hard Man for last. But we are breezing through this game. This is Magnet Man. I love this background. I love this background. I love the mining asteroids feels. I love the way they vibe. It's like an unearthly palette. It's just, it's beautiful. Yes, I can see sunrises like this in real life, and I did yesterday. But with the black at the bottom, it's just really pretty, and I'd love to see it properly blended together. So, another little bit of trivia. I owned Mega Man 3 growing up. I owned an NES copy of it, aside from the Anniversary Collection. Most of the time, when I play these games, I grew up with the Anniversary Collection version. However, in this case, I actually grew up with the NES version here. Oh, well, there's another life. Couldn't pick it up, but... Some of the collision is still going to be a little glitchy. It would require a full remake to properly, you know, redo a lot of this stuff. Complete Works is that, but it's still a little buggy. Here's another little trivia bit. Wright and Wily. Dr. Light is known as Dr. Wright in Japan. This was a mistranslation on the English side. Only in the NES version, only in the NES games. They kept it and have poked fun at it a couple times, especially with things such as Mr. Wright in Ace Attorney. You may know him as Phoenix Wright. That is a reference to Dr. Light, believe it or not. It's not just a pun on Wright and Write, as in the act of writing. So, and the Gemini laser takes out most things in nearly 2 hits. So, and I mean most things. Sparkshot is really, really good against Magnet Man. I think it is a wonderful thing. I'm having to stop myself from singing Magnet Man's theme by the Megas, because the lyrics there are just really nice. It's about a love that cannot be faded between Roll and Magnet Man, and it's just a lovely track. It's him singing to Roll about how he still wants to be friends, at least something, and Roll's like, no, you were made by Wily. Kind of an odd thing, yes, but So Dr. Wright is the real name. Technically, yes, it is Dr. Wright. However, English translations say Dr. Light. It has to do with the R and L controversy in Japan. Essentially, R's are L's and L's are R's. At the same time, they are both and neither. It's strange. But yes, you're 100% right, Cuddly Kong. The bottom text, welcome. They say, they think Dr. Wily is in the South Park movie for a minute. He was the scientist that made the V-chip. I think he was, actually. We're not going to, I'm not going to discuss that, though. At least not too much. Chronobird says, I always thought that the pun was that he was always right about what he was saying. Yes, it is. That is also part of it. That's part of the joke. Dr. Correct, said Cuddly Kong. The bottom text says, it's a joke. Looks like your stereotypical science. Yeah. So in this room, you can use pretty much anything. I like to use Gemini Laser because you could do crazy off-the-wall bouncy tricks. It's great. I learned a lot of these from a guy named Gemini Laser. He also goes by Flashman85 Live. I recently got to do an interview with him, and it'll be showing up. That'll be showing up in the 3rd part of the Ultimate Guide to Mega Man. But oh my god, his videos were such an inspiration to me in terms of like fiddling around with the weapons. And just like that. That's a fun little trick. Any one-tile gap with a ladder next to it is really goofy. It's a little goofy. I'll show it off in Hardman stage a little bit. Tristan, welcome. Hello. Chronobird says, going for a speedrun today? A little bit. A little bit. We're not going to be pulling off any crazy glitches or glitch tricks like zips or anything, but we are going to go for kind of a speedy run today. I hesitate to call it a speed run, but I'll call it a speedy run. Sparkshot won't hit him, but it was worth a shot. Let's see what we can't get. Okay, just 2 health. That's not too bad. Sparkshot also won't hit big enemies, so don't even try. Hello, Wily the Hyena. I'm trying to show off something cool. There we go. That is the goofiness. Hello, March the Leopard. We have all sorts of people showing up today, which is lovely. Mega Man 3 is a great game, and 4 is even better, and I can't wait to get to 4's trivia, because 4 has a lot of really interesting stuff. Just like Mega Man 2 and all the other games, there was a Robot Master contest for 3. And for 3 in particular, all of the names were listed for each boss on, like underneath their number, which was really cool in the credits. They do that again in 4 and later games, but here is the first time they really started to do that, which I thought was cool. CJ the Snow Leopard say, hello. I'll glitch in Mega Man 3 where if you get damaged occasionally, you flash for a very long time. Yes, you do. We're not going to be able to show that off here today, because most of the hit stun bugs were changed. However, I am going to mention a few glitches here. So, there is a pseudo-hidden two-player mode. If you mess with the second-player controller on the original NES version, I believe it was kept in for the Legacy Collection, but I'm not quite sure. Don't check. You can check me on that. Please correct me. But, if you hit different buttons on the second player controller and hold them down, you get weird debug things like super jumps and crazy zips and being dead while not actually being dead, infinite weapons, and just all sorts of craziness. It is a strange, buggy mess. Speaking of, if you actually unlock, I believe, one of the other weapons, go to, let me see here. I believe it might be Shadow Man. Yes, if you go to Shadow Man, and then you hit right while you don't have Rush Jet, you can still select Rush Jet, and if you have weapon energy on screen, you can pick it up and have Rush Jet. It's a little buggy and weird, and I got nothing for you. But here's Hardman Stage, another really good song by the Megas, by the way. I highly recommend you check out their version of all of the music, because while their songs can be goofy at times, it's so good. Hello, Highlander Zero and Gary the Dog. How is everybody doing, by the way? I hope everybody's doing quite alright. And just like that. Like I said, I'm going to try to show that off. Good. Good to see it. I'm going to try to show off weapons as much as possible. Here's another trick for top spin. Let me get back around to it. There is no way to go left and right, so if I pass a weapon, I just kind of gotta go all the way around, which a little annoying, but not too awful. I guess since we are 30 minutes in and we're most of the way through all the bosses, I'd like to say if you guys are enjoying the episode and want me to make more content, please drop a like and subscribe. It helps me reach out with the algorithm on YouTube, and also helps me out in terms of, you know, knowing what you guys want to watch. This week's all going to be Mega Man, so sorry about that, but I've got some Mario stuff planned, don't worry. Some stuff for the movie. Just an idea. Wham the Bat, hello. Welcome. There's another Proto Man fight. Proto Man's the new character for this game, however, he was created before Mega Man. He's essentially a prototype Joe. He's the first Robot Master. However, he doesn't really have much of a motive. His main function wasn't programmed in. It wasn't preset. He was just meant to be Dr. Light's son. However, seeing as, you know, he didn't get his power core switched out, and he couldn't have that function programmed in yet, he kind of ran away, fell into disrepair. Wily found him and reprogrammed him and said, "Nope, you're helping me with an evil scheme. You're gonna take out Mega Man and take back your purpose." However, Proto Man's not even sure he wants to do that. Hello, Victor the Brown Bat. The bottom text says, "I find that black bar on the left side so weird. That is a loading zone, and I can't get rid of it. I am so sorry, guys." Mario 3 does the same thing. But there's nothing in that spot. here, there is stuff in that spot sometimes, so I didn't want to cut it out and make it look strange, so this is the best I can do. DeAndre, the bet, says hello, hi, welcome. We're going to start up a Sparkman here. This is my favorite one to start with. I'm going to show off some really cool tricks when it comes to Mega Man 2, but for now, this is the closest I'm going to get to that. As you can notice, the stage here has some broken elements to it. That is because this is Doc Robot. Hello, Casey. Oh, boy. Hello, Casey. Welcome to chat. Glad you could at least make it. The Legacy Collection 1 copy the original games down to the quirks. The original Legacy Collection 1 is actually emulation, believe it or not. And it's really good emulation. So you get all of the strange quirks of Mega Man 3 for it. Which is kind of nice. It allows me to show off these games how they were intended. But for 3, I just felt like there was so much more going on here that if you didn't like the original 3, you know, there's a version out there for fans that is just so much better. It just fixes every problem that you might have. Verde says hello, Vernon says sup, and Cuddly Kong says the case is based. Well, I'm glad you're waiting on the bus now instead of, you know, trying to hoof it all the way here. Yes! Yes, you do, actually. The increased CPU speed is actually something I've kept consistent between all of the games. Yes, Sparkman stage is absolutely lovely. There is a remix out there by the RushJet 1 where he gives the Doc Robot stages different music, where they're even darker, more metal remixes of the Doc Robot stages, alongside remixes of all the original music, so also another good version of the music to go check out. I should probably get into what Doc Robot means. So, in Japan, he is known as Skull Robot, which is great because, you know, Skull Robot. Nice little tease there, but in America, he's known as Doc Robot. This was both a mistranslation, because in the manual he goes by essentially the word for skull is doku, or something very close. It's essentially the meaning of skull. However, in the game it said Skull Robot, so they changed it to Doc. This did not have a meaning for the longest time, and then the Archie Comics decided it stood for the Diverse Operation Circuit Robot. Is a robot to test the IC and personality data of robots before they are officially put into their Robot Master bodies, which was really cool. They had the name Skull Robot. It was Skull Robot would be the proper translation for it, the bottom text. So, Doc Robot here is essentially a test robot outfitted with all of the Mega Man 2 ideologies, and the reason the stages are all, you know, destroyed is because this thing is on a rampage. It is constantly conflicted with not only itself, but all of the other brothers inside of it. So, between them all, they can't really pick which one they want, so it's kind of rampaging and destroying stages instead of just destroying Mega Man like it was meant to. Because each of the bosses for Mega Man 2 have a different ideology than each other. So, it can't pick which one it wants to fight you with. So that's what you get. I did not get to read that. I wish I could. Doku! Yes, there you go. So it's a literal translation of Doku. Instead of Doku, it's Doc. Doc. Diverse Operation Circuit Robot, however, has been made canon since the Archie comics have been released, so that is what I am rolling with. I also like the idea that it is just a test robot, and Dr.WILY's final gambit was to send the 8 bots out to space, reprogram Doc Robot when nobody's watching him, try to make off with Gamma, and distract Mega Man with Proto Man. I think it's a really good idea for that to be Dr.WILY's final gambit, like one last final struggle for the Doctor to destroy Mega Man and humiliate Dr. Light with everything he holds dear. Which, I think is a great story. I think it's a great idea, and we're gonna see some really cool bits of that. But the fact that it's a last bit gambit makes the game kind of easy, because Mega Man's got a lot of time to prepare, even if Dr. Wily doesn't. Because he's got Roll and Dr. Light, and I suppose you can count Otto if you'd like, backing him up. His farm, Doku also means doctor. It's far less, yeah. Far less formal, though. But Doku, they stole that from the English language, doctor. They have other terms for doctor as well. And there you go. That's nice, Casey. The hyena. I read your message. Nice that you're working on music. Yes, thank you, Casey, for the Japanese language trivia. Here's a trick that works in the original game. You can do a mild screen wrap and get all of these pickups. This was a quirk that they could not change from the original. But stay at the top of the screen, just jump when the dragonflies come after you. Pick up the health, the energy, and just go for it. Where we're going, we don't need roads. Where we're going, we don't need jet bikes. Actually, we do. That is a required rush jet section. And right here we have one of the lovely hard hats. This is a giant Met. So cute. I've had him hit me before after I've killed him already. Here we've got helicopter Mets. These are all Mets you should add to your list if you're making a running tally of the amount of Mets that we've seen along the way. This is gonna get wild by the time we're done with this. Especially because it's not the only giant Mets we're gonna be seeing. We saw them earlier on in Needleman stage when it was daytime and they had a blue plus, but now they've got a red plus. So. Gasha Adokoro. Yeah, that is also a real thing. Casey. And here we have Crashman, or Clashman, depending on your translation. We're gonna see both. Here we've got the... Crashman's weakness here is just hard knuckle. It can be a little tricky hitting him with it, but once you do, he goes down easy peasy. Hard knuckle's a really underrated weapon. I think it's pretty good, especially once it starts flying. You can angle it up and down, which is nice. And the fact that it's all an energy-based punch, it means Mega Man doesn't lose his Buster like we saw in Mega Man 5 for Game Boy. And now let's get done with Shadow Man before the bottom of the stage has a hissy fit. Oh, the horror, cheesing the flying section. Lovely. I love this so far. We're making really good time today, which is just fantastic. And like that. We're saving the Gemini laser for a second big one of those guys. The big jumpers are always a little hazardous. I love these little eye dudes. I don't know what about them. They've always just kind of charmed me. These platforms will drop out from underneath you. We're going to see a lot of these. However, if you jump, you don't even have to think about it. Now, naturally, if you're at this point in the game, you've got Rush Jet. You don't have to think about it. Let's be real, 3 is better than 5. In a lot of cases, I have more to say about 3 than I do Mega Man 5, so I guess I will buckle to that opinion and say, sure. 5 is a better put-together game, but 3 has more unique ideas. Even if it does reuse the Mega Man 2 powers and sprite sets. Doc Woodman. This is a tricky one, because Woodman had a smaller hitbox than Doc Robot does. So, these leaves are incredibly tough to jump over, and I just equipped the wrong weapon. Equip Needleman's weapon, shoot it to turbo, shift it to turbo, and just go. And just like that, 1/2 down, and there's our first checkpoint. That's the one thing I don't like about this. So, in the Doc Robot Master stages, we don't actually see any... No. 5 Game Boy is really good. But, yeah, no. We're gonna see a lot of very strange, tricky bits come out of this. They're all equally loved, maybe. No. There's a few Mega Man games that people despise. Mega Man and Bass, which I don't really love that much, but I've seen a lot of people really like it, and after my recent playthrough on the channel, I found that there was more to like there than hate, and to ease out everybody's minds, Mega Man and Bass Challenger from the Future, which is a game we're playing later on this month, is another game that's not really quite as loved. And oh shoot, what else? Yeah, no, they're not all loved the same, sadly. But here we have Heat Man. This fight is annoying. They lowered the position of that first flame, so it can actually be... It's actually a lot harder to not get hit. This fight, Heat Man does way more damage because he's in the Doc body. Alright. With that all being said, we're now on Gemini, which is generally the second one I do, if not the first, but he is a really fun stage. Once again, we're back out in space. We've got a few different enemies here, a few different color palettes. But yeah, no, I think 3 is one of those games with a very interesting dev history. It was a very troubled development cycle. They had a lot less time than Mega Man 2 to make it to. But they made a longer game than Mega Man 2, which... kind of makes sense. Man, we're just seeing life after life hit the bottomless pit here. I'm gonna hold right here, see what's in there. Alright, not really worth it. Those are mystery tanks. They're different than the M tanks that we saw beforehand in other games. Here, you just shoot them, and they come out with a different item. They're kind of like a prototype version of the mystery tanks from Mega Man 5. What I didn't show about the mystery tank is that if there is enemies on screen and you use a mystery tank while at full health and full weapon ammo, all of the enemies on screen will turn into extra lives. So, if you're low on lives, have a mystery tank, think you can survive for a little while longer, that is a good way to go. I'm actually quite hungry at the moment, so bear with me in terms of some of my thought processes. I'm probably going to take a break in between Mega Man 3 and 4 just to get myself something to drink. It won't be that long of a break, so... Here we have Flashman. And he goes down just as easy as he does on the NES, so in Mega Man 2, so. Luckily, this isn't even the last time we're gonna see all of these games, so. Or at least one through, or at least it won't be the last time we see Mega Man's 2 bosses or Mega Man 3's bosses. Can you eat the mystery's hand? What do you mean? The tank. Oh. I mean, I suppose you probably wouldn't like it. Here's another really clever use for Rush Marine. Just get to about here. Shoot the big fish. You can't slide in Rush Marine though, so... And then all you gotta do here is slide. This is a pretty clever room, but I would have put the ladder on the other side. This is a really fun room, especially if you know what you're doing. Yes, I did clip on top of the ladder. It has to do with it just being... Mega Man just being barely one tile lower than he should be. Barely. Like, it's like half a tile. So then instead of the game just going, okay, you fell because you didn't hit the top, it says, okay, you're on the top because it's the nearest pixel. Has to do with subpixels. Don't ask me. But here's Bubble Man. The background for this one originally was a little bit busted, so they actually fixed it for this one, so... Like I said, this game is gonna have all sorts of unused graphics that I think really work with Mega Man 3 that should have been in the final product if they had enough time. Because otherwise, why would it be in the code? And now we have Breakman's final fight. On the way back to the lab, Breakman is here to stop us, slow us down one final time. But it didn't work. We made it through. But it seems like there was a bit of a hostage situation here, and Wily ran off with Gamma. Here's a cutscene that you won't see in the original NES version because it was stripped, but all of this is here, even the music. A small Mega Man stream, weird. Well, hello, Soma, welcome. I hope you're enjoying the stream so far, Soma. I am playing through the entire Mega Man series as a build-up to the Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection, as well as a companion piece to my larger 12-hour compendium called The Ultimate Guide to Mega Man. I've got 2 parts of that out, and it covers pretty much every game, but I've got more Mega Man vids on the way, I've got more retro game content on the way, and today is Mega Man 3 and 4, so please stick around, have a fun time. Yeah, no, there's all sorts of stuff here that was cut from the original NES version, and some additions that I've shown off already, including hot swaps of weapons and some glitch fixes, some new background tiles that were dug out of the code and repurposed. All sorts of cool stuff. Hello, Shieldy the Numbat. There's my favorite little hop with the Rush Marine. We're not going to be seeing Rush Marine for the rest of the playthroughs, so... There's a sound effect for when they hit the door. That actually doesn't play in the NES version either. It's in the code, just doesn't work. We're gonna grab that E-Tank. Completely missed the door because I was sliding. So what version of Mega Man 3 is this exactly? So this is the Mega Man 3 Improvement Patch. This is a ROM hack made by fans in order to better improve the overall quality of Mega Man 3, because there is just so much... So Mega Man 3 has a lot of unused content, and 3 could have been so much more than it was. So 3 has the most amount of bugs. It was a rushed development time. They just didn't have all of the time to work on it. So when it came time for me to showcase this game for the channel, I knew what I had to do. I had to do my best to make it look presentable, show off everything I could. We even get hot swap switching on select, which is just awesome. For Mega Man 4, right after we finish here, I'm actually going to be doing the Legacy Collection version, so that is why I chose to use the Legacy Collection background. I even got the turbo mode function of this emulator to run at the exact same rate the turbo version does on the Legacy Collection, so we're running good. Yes, absolutely. I love showing off this type of stuff. When we did Donkey Kong, I showed off all sorts of different versions of that game, too. So, please, Soma, if you'd like, subscribe, ring the bell. I've got tons more stuff like this on the way. Tomorrow's stream is Mega Man 3 for Game Boy, and then we're doing 1 and 2 for Game Boy in one stream. General rule of thumb, if it's an NES game, I do them... If it's an NES game, I do them 2 in a row. If it's a Game Boy game, I try my best to do them 2 in a row, but if they're hard, I do them 1 at a time, because I like to keep my stream length between 2 to 3 hours, so. But that was the turtle spawner. It was Kumado? It means like turtle. It means like shelled beast or something like that. Or shelled creator. But it's also kind of like a punny name in Japanese. Either way, we are on the second stage, and this is probably my favorite level out of this entire game. Mostly because it's really short, and it's kind of silly to do It's silly. Okay, it is the silliest stage in my honest opinion. Also, Magnet Missile is just hilarious. Ah, I'll take the death. Head right back up. I don't believe the extra life respawns, so... There was a few tricks in this game that they did for fun. That's going to be really cool to show off during the boss rush, so... Definitely a reason to stick around. But we're going to just keep going until we're at... Rush Jet... Like I said, this is a really fun room to go through. E-Tank, E-Tank, weapon. I think I'm running low on magnet. Yeah, sure, we'll take it. Come in here with Hard Knuckle, and we have the Yellow Devil version 2. So, let's go. This is a really fun fight because now you have the slide, unlike in Mega Man 1, so you can just kind of do crazy tricks. You only need to dodge the bottom 2, so... Once he's all done forming himself, just launch a Hard Knuckle, go from there. I'll do my best to show off his third pattern, which is another one that was glitched on the original NES. I do think it's really cool the way they use the background tiles and form them into... Okay, so this is the part that is glitched in the original NES. None of the hitboxes line up, and sometimes they jankily go up to the left-hand corner. If you fly up to the left-hand corner in the original NES version, all of those blocks will hit you. Every single one of them. And the only reason why is the hitboxes do not properly spawn in off-screen like they're supposed to. So the original, normally they're stored off-screen, but when they bounce, they move to the block. On the original NES version, that doesn't happen, and instead of them being off-screen, they are actually in the top right corner, which is just goofy enough for me to mention. Grab another E-Tank. You can use Rush Jet or Rush Coil for that. I prefer Jet, just because... You know, fun. Is it as goofy as you? A little bit. It's certainly silly. This room could be entirely skipped. This is another room where I think they meant to do something more with it, but they didn't have a chance to. Here's another good showcase for the Spark Shot. You don't feel like dealing with them? You don't have to. If you time your shot right. Like that. And you can just switch back over to your Buster. And it despawned. That's the only annoyance about Spark Shot, is that you have to, every time you switch weapons, the Spark Shot despawns. Even if it's hit an enemy already. So here is the Copy Robot clone hologram. 2 of them are holograms, 1 of them is the original. However, if you're so inclined, he always spawns on the top row at first. And with Turbo Fire, This guy goes down. No problem. Oh, the spark shot is also fixed in this one. Yes, it is. Like I said, most glitches are fixed. The Saturn that appears in Gemini Man stage actually appears. Parallax scrolling was added in certain parts of the stages where it originally was supposed to be. All sorts of stuff, which is really, really cool. Granted, I know quite a lot about these games, so... This was also another thing that was fixed. These junk robots... Originally, the blocks would get thrown at you regardless as if they were dead or not, because by the time you killed them with the turbo fire function, they would just still be on screen. Here we're going to showcase what that looks like. So there you go. That one's always going to get the block before you can get him, unless you use the weakness of those junk bots. It really is just a last-ditch effort to try and beat Mega Man. Here we have the capsule time. We're just going to kind of go around. And here's a fun trick. All of the bosses, yes, all of them, are weak to their own weapons. This is not a bug, this is a joke. Metal Man was originally the only boss that was weak to himself. They thought it would be funny if they did the same here. This is never seen again, really. So, Snake Man's a really fun pattern to get down Buster only if you ever feel the need. Magnet Man, Spark Shot. So the way Magnet Man works is that he doesn't really have any protections against his own magnet, so when you shock him, the magnets are depolarized, so his weapons would no longer work. You are literally stopping the magnets from working with enough static electricity. Which is kind of neat. And this is another neat little trick. So since you now know that the weaknesses for all of the bosses are against their own weapons, you can just kind of go left to right with one weapon, and you don't even have to think about it. This is the only real time where you'd have to. And even then... Gemini laser. Oh no, my weakness! Myself! Exactly, Chrono Bird. Hard Man's not too difficult of a fight. He's even pretty easy Buster only if you give it enough practice. Naturally, I would use his weakness here as well. We're just gonna use Top Spin. Harder to hit, not harder to beat. Back to Buster. Yes, it does, actually. The stage design of Doc Robot is not different, but they use a lot of the unused, destroyed parts of Doc Robot levels that makes the stages feel actually different instead of, you know, annoying. Felipe, he is not dead forever. And yes, kind of, sort of. But spoilers, we haven't been there. The subtitle for this game is The End of Dr.WILY. So, that is where I came up with the title for today. 4 is a new threat, so... yeah, because all of the Mega Man games have subtitles in Japan. Didn't mind the Doc stages. Were just terrible to fight. Yeah, the improvement patch helps that because it removes a lot of the annoying lag that the dock robots incurred, and with the emulator's turbo speed that you can enable, you can actually make it nice. You can make those fights really clean. So, let's see here. We need Spark Shot energy. Onward and upward! Or, well, downward. I just grabbed that when I didn't need to. Yeah, Spark Shot. Search Snake. Why not? E-Tank. A new threat, yet the same. Yep. Well, 5 and 6 kind of had that same twist, but 7... I think 7 amps up 6 quite nicely. Here's the Wily Machine. His weakness is Hard Knuckle and Spark Shot. But this Wily Machine in particular isn't really that hard of a fight. In fact, it probably would have been more difficult if Wily was in the machine itself. Because that ain't Wily. It's a decoy bot. And in the comic, it repeats the same, like, 3 lines over and over again, and it's hilarious. Alright, so first up, we need... Search Snake. I like Top Spin for this fight, but even then... might as well go crazy with it. We'll use Rush Jet to get this extra life. And another E-Tank, leaving our total with 12 and 9, which is a really good run for me. We didn't beat the high score, but we tried. We definitely beat it with E-Tanks, though. This has been an insanely good run. So that first phase, just use the Shadow Blade. Second phase, switch over to Search Snake. Dodge out of the way of the fist. Those spikes are instant death. Get up top. Spam Snake. Land back at the bottom. One more time. Let's say we finish this out with Top Spin, huh? Just like that, Mega Man 3 is finished. An hour and 5 minutes. That is a record for me. Oh boy, Mega Man 4 is going to be a really fun time. We're going to let the credits play out here. So. Flip is a dime, absolutely. And here's the epilogue. I have to switch my TV over, so chat reading might be a little bit slow going here. Oh, lovely. So, Breakman is Proto Man, who is Blues. That is all the same name. We get the official designation numbers for all of the robots. We get to look through the catalog here of the first bots. And as we work our way backwards, we get some lovely music. The parallax scrolling here is a little different than the NES version. Some of these sprites were unused, some of them were not. However, it's really nice, and you get this great track. This is the full Proto-Man's full theme. I didn't really go into the fact that most of the bots from Mega Man 3 are very experimental bots without much purpose in the real world, but that is a-okay. I'm going to have another chance to do that when we play through the Wily Wars version next week. But yeah. Soma says there's a song they heard. Ah, yes, the Megas. If I was only standing there, well, I could have been by hero and your fears. If I could be, that I could be the light when they couldn't see. That I would be, that I would give them hope, then keep them free. When they fall, still I would stand, and I would live by human man. In a trains to very honor, a hero's father could be so very flawed. Alright, here's my favorite track in Mega Man 3, the credits track. Alright, how's everybody feeling? You guys still up for Mega Man 4? Well, he was made to entertain. He was made for entertainment and gyroscopic purposes, meant to essentially test out the field of gyroscopy on a robot to keep them balanced no matter what the space travel flight for Top Man. Believe me, said Chronobird says Mega Man 3, the game where the Beyblade is the strongest, is stronger than the mech. Yep, it is. Soma said many people don't pay much attention to the Mega Man lore, but I think it's very interesting. I watched that 8-hour lore explanation video in one sitting. I did my own lore explanation video, actually, and it has some updated information from that really long one that somebody did. Alright. Bear with me, folks. The Ultimate Guide to Mega Man was my essential... my way of showcasing the lore without going overboard. I did everything from Classic to Legends in one full run, so... But just like that, we are good to go. Let me just unmute. It seems. But yes, no, I did my own lore explanation video with all sorts of interesting facts along the way from development history and everything, and that's what this is kind of a companion piece to. So, Soma, if you want to check out the Ultimate Guide, do it after the stream. I have way more information than that one video does. I can guarantee you that. You telling me robots feel vertigo? Yes, they can. They made them as lifelike and human-like with emotions as possible, so that way then they could empathize with a human being to make things a little bit better. Ah, and look who showed up. It was Casey Tape. Casey has finally showed back up at home. So let's begin Mega Man 4, shall we? Zenny says, meow, they are here. Well, welcome. We are just beginning Mega Man 4. We just finished up 3, Zenny.
Thank God I made it in time for 4.
You made it in time for your favorite, and this one I've got a lot of really fun facts for everybody. If you want to scoot in a little bit. If you could monitor chat for 4, that would be great, because it's kind of split-screening me now.
Is it?
Yeah, because I've got this here and that there instead of it all on one.
Oh boy.
I had it all on one beforehand, but I don't.
This is the reason why I always use a second monitor for my streams.
Well, I liked having the second monitor. It was really kind of a hassle. Alright. Did it also make a robot that needs glasses so they could feel empathy with people? Well, it's to make it more human-like. The more human-like you can make a machine, the less uncanny it becomes. And the more humanoid you can make that AI system, the more understanding of humans it can become. If you make a robot that can learn from humans and also empathize with the human struggle and make it as lifelike as possible, as long as you have some restrictions on that robot, it is 100% safe, and in fact, could benefit humanity a ton.
Just like Mega Man.
Just like Mega Man, and most of the Robot Masters. However, then we get to the decisiveness of modern AI and what we see in machine learning at generations. And that's just the point is, we don't see much. It's mostly just copying. Which is kind of a shame.
Yeah,
So,
we don't see it struggle to learn.
because it's not struggling to... It's not learning proper. It's not like... It's not learning the same way a human would learn, which is the difference between proper AI and the AI we see online right now.
I just like how Dustman...
Right now, it's just mimicking humans.
I'm gonna be real, I just love how Dustman's portrait looks like he's not even interested in anything that's going on.
Speaking of robots that need glasses, the Hubble Space Telescope needed glasses. So, but this is Mega Man 4! Our main story is that Dr. Wily has been missing for quite some time, and nobody's really been able to find him since their last little skirmish in space, and Mega Man has been sent out to Russia to stop 8 bosses that are causing havoc over there. Because the good scientist Dr. Cossack feels like he hasn't been respected enough, or so it seems. So, he sicked all his bots on everybody, but none of his bots were made for combat. Not a single one of his were made for combat. In fact, Cossack, in and of himself, is a pacifist. And a father. That's right, on the far right-hand side of the screen, you can actually see Kalinka Cossack, his daughter. He is a father, and his wife is a widow. He is a widow as well, sadly. Cossack is seen in Mega Man Battle Network, in Battle Network 3, and there he is also a widow and has a daughter as well. However, we don't see Kalinka anywhere, but she is designed, and she wears a lovely blue parka in that series.
That's right, I forgot Cossack was in, sorry.
Yeah, speak up a little bit.
I'm still trying to adjust. I just got here.
You're good.
I forgot that that he makes an appearance in Battle Network.
Yes, he does. He's a very big story moment there, but I'm not going to spoil that for anybody who's going to be picking up the Battle Network Legacy Collection. I'm just going to spoil that he's in the game, and it's my favorite design for Cossack. If you want to read chat out real fast.
Yep, sorry about that.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Let's see here. Knowing that Toadman was not made for combat explains a lot.
Yeah, he was made for rain and drought problems. So essentially, any place you couldn't get water, he could make a rain. He could make a rainstorm. Anytime you needed water in like a deserty sort of region to help travelers, he could do it. Places that are too poor for, proper clean water, he could do it. That was what Toadman was made for.
However, here, he makes acid rain, if I'm correct?
He makes acid rain. Acid rain can be an important part of irrigation systems, which is necessary. So, essentially, it allows for different styles of rain just to, whatnot. But Toadman wasn't made for combat. In fact, the goal here isn't even to kill Mega Man. It's just to, it's to stall him. It's to make Cossack look evil. So, we'll get to all of that.
Yeah, because he doesn't directly attack Mega Man.
No, he just jumps left and right and does a rain dance, which is nice, but eh.
But he does cause acid rain to pour from the ceiling.
Yeah.
Alright, and Soma says, 4 is, I think, where the NES games should have ended. It was pretty much the 8-bit formula perfected.
I prefer 6.
I like 4. 4 is good.
I like 4, but
I haven't played 6.
I prefer 6. That rush adapter is so cool.
Wasn't it your entry too?
It was my introduction.
So
I'm a little biased. But it doesn't mean I can't love it, so yeah.
Dustman looks like he doesn't care.
Yeah, Dustman is a trash compactor bot. Once again, he's built for collecting trash and destroying it and recycling the parts for melted down metals.
Oh, you're using wireless headphones?
Yes, I am. I thought you were going to be joining via the Discord, so...
My bad. I really like Dustman's theme.
That is A-okay. But here we have the up and downs and the jumping Mets. One for your list.
Which is on my computer. It's actually not like a Google Doc or anything. It's actually like a notepad opened on my computer.
Oh my gosh.
So these, every single game that you're going through, I'm gonna have to watch through to find Mets. It moved! I'm writing that one down.
Anyways, so we have these big crushers here. Once again, another trash compactor bot. These guys are surveillance cameras. They're not really intended for too much of anything. Once again, all of the bots in Mega Man 4, including the up and downs, which are meant to catch anything that falls.
Including people off of handrails.
Yeah, all of these bosses have definite uses. Here's our new character for the game, Eddie /Flip Top. Yeah, he'll spawn in, give you an item, and peace out.
The RNG for Eddie in this game is my favorite because it doesn't screw you over.
So the charge shot goes through multiple when it comes to these dust blocks. However, you can just kind of use turbo fire and clear them all out. And if you're really slick, you can just kind of do that. It isn't too hard to really pass through that, but I can understand why people can get frustrated because you can clip through walls and stuff there. It is a little buggy, but you know, not too bad. If you want to
Yep, getting back to it.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. You're absolutely fine. Here's the dance.
Game. I can't not look at this.
Here is the dancing met as well. So go ahead and read through chat real fast.
All right. Yeah, we got burning trash. My froggy fella does a little jump and he does a little jig to call rain.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. He's great.
I don't know why, but when I read that, I could just see in my head like a little CGI frog just ragdolling.
Dustman is another one that is all determined by... He has a percentage chance of what he will do based on where you are standing. You want him to throw the dust crusher at you. You don't really want him to suck up anything, because when he does that, he can't be hit.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that because he's like technically sucking in your shots as well?
Yes. It's dissipating the energy too quickly.
Oh, I see.
That's the lore explanation. However, the shots just bounce off.
Because the vacuum that he's using is even taking it up all this dust out of the air and turning it into actual.
It's removing the air. It's removing the air from the shot. And since Mega Man's Mega Buster is based on solar-based plasma, it needs air to survive. It needs air to exist. And if there is no vacuum, like in a vacuum, it just can't survive. So it dissipates.
That's crazy. All right, I'm gonna read the rest of chat.
That is okay with me.
Kind of like how even in the Ruby Spears show, they implied Toadman is kind of weak compared to the other robots.
Yeah, he is.
He's not bad though.
He's not. None of these bosses are bad. In fact, Brightman here is for helping lost explorers, expeditions where light sources may be a problem. He's also
checking factories.
Oh yeah, checking through factories. He's also built for the oh shoot, what is it? He's also built for, oh gosh, I cannot think about it. He's built for power plant distribution and energy.
Distribution. That's what I meant, not factories.
And he's also just basically energy dispersal. Allows for him to like track all of this stuff very easily.
His bulb can actually get so bright that it can power solar panels, if I'm correct.
It can power solar panels, it can power through pretty much most things. And all his Bright Stopper does is it overrides a robot's visual sensors, so it can't tell where it's at. So the last known position is where the robot thinks it's at. So for anytime you're stopped in air in this game with Brightman's weapon, that is why.
It kind of makes sense, but the reason why we're able to move after being blinded by something that bright is because, well, we're humans. We don't fully rely on our sight to move.
Yeah, we use everything to move, so it's...
However, Rockman is slightly different because he was also built with
well, he's built with optic sensors and stuff. But while everybody's got hearing and stuff, they rely on their eyes mostly to move and see.
That's fair.
That visual information is very important for a robot.
I just love how how Mega Man in the Ruby Spears cartoon just carries a pair of sunglasses with him everywhere he goes.
Oh yeah, it's a little goofy.
Yeah, I'm gonna continue.
Yeah, if you could real fast, we're getting in all sorts of questions today.
Okay, what? How did you not get crushed? Asked Soma. I think that was...
Yeah, that was a little bit ago. I do it in a specific way, and that's how I don't get crushed. I just destroy all the dust blocks.
Got a favorite snack, anyone? Asks Sunny.
I am partial to I'm partial to Doritos. I like Doritos quite a bit. Anything with cheese, generally, I really like.
I mean, yeah, that's a given. Cheese is really good.
I like cheesy stuff. I also like sweet stuff, so like I'm not picky. Generally I really like pretty much everything, but I think Cool Ranch Doritos has to be one of my favorites.
Oh, you're making me have a power struggle.
And I messed up. Yeah.
I'm a fan of combos, specifically
There's a little trick.
Specifically the cheese pizza flavored ones, because sometimes they come in a pretzel flavor.
There's what I'm trying to do. You don't have to get hit at all. You can just kind of follow the bullets. Also, yes, you have momentum. You have momentum when you jump off of those.
Really?
Yeah, if you jump at the right time, you have momentum.
I didn't notice that.
I don't know why it transfers sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't.
Maybe it was just like a small bug that they couldn't work out.
Probably, but
they probably meant for it to be a thing.
Probably. Here is a really cool trick for you guys. Brightman's time stop ability flash stopper ability is all based on his health. So if you shoot him once with one buster, and then use rain flush, and then dodge his bullets, and use another rain flush, and another, and one more, and one more. Last one, everybody.
You can ask Gavin. I just completely start using rain flush, and then I get stunned.
As long as you make one shot before he's at half health, he will never stop you.
That's cool. Alright, so as Dustman once said, don't make me suck more than I can handle. Oh no. Dustman was designed by the same guy who wrote One Punch Man, by the way.
Yes, it was.
I didn't know that.
That is something I should probably mention. Mega Man 4 had the contest for all 8 Robot Masters, and the winners of all 8 got gold Mega Man 4 cartridges.
That's awesome.
There are 8 of them in the world. 8 Rockman 4 gold cartridges. If you have one, they're extremely, extremely expensive. I do not. I have a normal Rockman 4
Casey just manages to find one.
But I would love to have one. 4 of them, I believe, have been sold off since. So,
I'm pretty sure.
If you find them and think they are fake, no, those are real. Those are 100% real. They come with a certificate and everything.
Brightman broke the laws of the universe and he can supply his own energy, making him a being capable of infinite energy. That's not exactly true.
Yeah, not exactly.
He still needs to charge, just like any other robot.
He's run on solar.
He's run on solar?
Most of the bosses are run on solar. You can find their full specs online, actually. Huh. Speaking of solar-based bots and everything.
Solar Man specifically.
Speaking of solar-based bots, Mega Man's Mega Buster here was upgraded specifically for Mega Man 4. And I think it's a lovely thing, because we've got a nice charge shot now. It's not my favorite version of the charge shot, but
it works.
It works.
You like the one from 6?
I like the one from 6 the most.
I wonder why.
And 11 umped that up a lot, so I think...
Okay, 11's Buster is amazing.
11's Mega Buster is great. I love that one. So Skullman here is made as a misdirect for Cossack. Essentially, a plea for help. If you see Skullman, don't think to go after Cossack. Go after Wily. Try to find...
He even has the skull motif on his helmet.
Yeah, he's got the Wily's skull insignia on the helmet itself. To go along with that, too, he doesn't move until you attack. Almost like he was intended to just be a red herring to showcase... To tell Mega Man that...
fight that way.
You would think. However, he is still programmed to fight.
Which is dumb.
A little bit.
Skullman does not know this, but I really hate Skullman.
Skullman was repurposed after Mega Man 4.
Archaeology?
Yes, he actually is an archaeologist as well as museum curator.
Okay.
He also helps out at the cemetery sometime as guard keep.
You know, that makes sense. That man is amazing.
Just all around good bot. Skullman's a cool boss.
What was Shade Man repurposed for?
Shade Man's an amusement bot.
He is?
Yep.
Okay.
Another
I
thing.
would've seen him as a gravekeeper.
Another thing about Mega Man 4 is that there was one other winner picked beforehand in Cloudman. However, in one rushed night, they scrapped everything for Cloudman, who made a reappearance in 7, and made Skullman in a single night. The entire stage, the boss pattern, everything, in one night.
Which is impressive.
And
Not many people can do that.
No, it's really impressive, especially because it was done by one person, which is really, really cool. Except for the fact that, you know, Skullman's stage is, you know, a little long with not a whole lot going on, which is fine. In most cases, it's fine. But we're going to bury him under the Dust Crusher here.
Oh, listen to this. Yes, the sunglasses blocked Brightman's light, but it's still affected Proto Man.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense. The Ruby Spears is silly, and in part 3 of The Ultimate Guide to Mega Man, I'll be covering all of the strangeness of that canon side of things.
Felipe goes, the bones. Alright, I believe Skullman was a late addition. The devs just love to design so much that they pretty much cut Master to include him.
Yeah, they did.
They did? What Master did they cut?
Cloudman.
Oh,
and then they reused Cloudman and the stage design for Cloudman in Mega Man 7.
That's right, I forgot about that.
Where they were able to do more with it, which I think is just really, really cool.
This was the OG Cloudman, though, which is crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah, this was supposed to be Cloudman's debut.
And here we are coming up onto Pharaoh Man.
Pharaoh Man is not just a tomb keeper or an archaeologist bot, but he was also intended to help showcase that Dr. Cossack can develop bots into the world that are very powerful. Yes, he does have a flame weapon, however, it's not intended for flame purposes.
It's meant to light torches, if I'm correct?
It's meant to light torches. He is equipped with his ocular sensors are essentially X-ray proof, so he can see through things and see any hidden traps in stages or tombs. He can see gases that are in the air, so
that could be hazardous to the humans.
Yep, he's also, when not doing that, Kalinka and Pharaoh Man often play Castle.
Aww. I've never been told that. That's so cute.
That is something. Kalinka's only about 8 years old here. So that should showcase that. Kalinka later develops Robot Masters, and in fact developed X-Over, which is its own divine beast.
Really?
Yeah, I'll have to talk about that when I get to it. That'll be a discussion for a whole nother video. Trust me, I know this lore like the back of my hand. If there's some obscure piece of trivia, I know it.
Felipe says, not gonna lie, I thought Skullman was just to play a prank to archaeologists.
You found a man! He's a robot! Do-do-do! No. No, he's not. He is a red herring for this game.
Furman has one killer uppercut.
Yeah, he does! In the Ruby Spears cartoon, he punches Mega Man after having his power stolen, because apparently in that continuity, the power isn't copied, it is taken.
Which is kind of dumb.
Which is not what the variable weapon system does in the game. It actually just makes a copy as close as the Mega Buster can create. But, you know, whatever. We're gonna also showcase something. So if you guys have sensitive ears, here's your moment to pause after the fight. I recommend unpausing the audio. I'll try not to do this too much, but essentially you lure Pharaoh Man over here. Then, Turbo Fire, right up next to him.
Isn't that bad because some of them stutter? Or is that another game I'm thinking of?
You're thinking of something else. Because right here, when I Turbo Fire, Pharaoh Man doesn't move because it's reactivated the first frame. I made a joke a couple weeks ago during practice where I was right here, Pharaoh Man was right here, and I kept inching pixel and pixel closer. You can also freeze time on this screen to make the entire screen white for that outro screen. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but
because it's fun.
You guys can unmute now if you did.
They can't tell if you're talking.
Well, it doesn't matter. I said after that. So,
Mega Man first took Pharaoh Man's powers, then he hit it with a left hook.
Then he took the hook. Yep.
Now I got your powers.
Bonk. Here we have Ringman,
I
and
don't need powers to fight you.
Ringman is an orbital bot he's meant for multiple purposes here. He is meant to basically test out the gravitational pull of rings, mess with that. He also messes with light energy, as you can see with these beams here. And to go along with that, he also can double as a jeweler.
Because of the rings.
Yep, he knows exact ring sizes by just looking at a finger.
Wow.
Down to the precise millimeter. He can essentially shine and create rings essentially very, very quickly for wedding bands.
Does it mention what material his rings are made of?
I believe it does. I don't know it off the top of my head, and I'm sorry for that.
It's the element of AU.
Aluminum?
I meant AG.
I was about to say, that's...
I meant to say gold. Chat, this is how you know I don't...
That might be my mistake, too. It could be AU.
No, it's AG. Aluminum is AU.
Okay, that's what I thought.
No, AG is what I meant to say.
Alright, here's our first mini-boss of this stage. There are going to be 4 of these throughout this stage. How is the chat holding up now that we have them confused with what's gold and what's not?
My confidence is shattered.
So here's a little trick for you. Brightman's weapon is useful for all mini-bosses. They stop missiles, and while they don't always stop everything, it's really cool. Also, another thing, it's not called Time Stop, it's called Flash Stopper. You'd think that'd be Flashman's weapon. Nope, that's called Time Stopper. Flash Stopper is Brightman's weapon. I know, it sounds so random,
Just thumps my foot against the ground. Angie bunny noises.
No, that's me. Anyways, down here we go. We're gonna pause it one more time. Oh yeah, if you want to go ahead.
I was gonna reach out for you.
Go for it.
Oh, cool. Hard light bridges.
Yep.
Portal reference.
They are hard light bridges. They are. You're 100% right. That's exactly what they are supposed to be.
Ringman was also made to blow bubbles and can be a priest for a marriage.
Yeah. That is also true.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. All of the Mega Man 4 bots...
He just dips his head.
All of the Cossack bots are not meant for combat. They are all meant for research, development, and helping.
That one just seems so silly.
I know it's
not
silly.
The last part of it, the first part. Just imagine this big robot that looks menacing as hell.
He's not that
just
menacing.
Dips this little ring and his head into the freaking soap. And just comes back up and it starts blowing.
Well, that wand on his head can be detached.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Casey. I don't know too much about Robot Masters, but I try.
Another thing about Ringman is that in the Megamix comics, he picks up a side hustle as a detective.
Really?
Yes.
You're mentioning all these comics. That's making me want to read now.
Sorry.
Why are you sorry?
I mistimed that. I can't shoot him, by the way, when that does that. Take it. There we go. And now we're at Ringman. His weakness here is Pharaoh Shot. Pharaoh Shot can be a little glitchy at times, but I still like it.
Isn't there a trick you can do with Pharaoh Shot?
Yes, you can. You can hit him twice with the largest flame without taking that much weapon energy. So watch this. All you gotta do is jump over his ring, hit him, charge up again. I don't like getting hit that much on this fight, so... There you go. I'm gonna try to stand in the center here. Closer you can be, the better for this little stunt. I want to show this off at least once.
You were too far to the right.
Yeah, I'll show it off in the next stage. Okay, if you want to go ahead and read off a little bit more here.
It doesn't stop time, it flashes its eyes.
Oh my gosh.
Ringman just does everything. A true multi-purpose robot.
He is. Speaking of multi-purpose robots, we got Dive Man. Dive Man is a submarine bot. He is also built for excavating the bottom of the ocean floor, as well as maintaining different navies from across the world to better increase proficiency.
Are those
Fish? Yes.
no.
Oh, the little cleaning bots in the tanks?
No. Are those... Is that... What am I thinking of?
Speak up a little bit.
I'm trying to think of the word. Thermal vents? Is that what I'm trying to think of? There's a term for, like, small vents underwater that release hot air.
Yes. This is an underwater power plant. It essentially uses the thermal energy of lava to better process the heat. Dive Man is in charge of this area. However, he's gone rogue.
Uh-oh.
He also was another bot that really wasn't equipped with the missile at first. Those missiles are meant for excavation, not so much for combat.
Well, then again, didn't you say that he operated with the Navy as well?
Yeah, he does, but they're not really meant for combat. They're more meant for excavating stuff at the bottom of the ocean.
That's fair.
He's meant for rescue, not so much combat.
That's how you could tell Cossack was just a goat from the start.
Even Tundra Man doesn't have that, so that's a little fun fact for you. This stage can be a lot of fun, though. A few things I didn't mention while in Pharaoh Man stage was the fact that we got the balloon adapter. We really won't be seeing that till near the end. But here's a little glitch I'd like to show off.
Are you gonna do it?
I'm gonna do it. So if you hold up here.
I think you're actually just supposed to hold up.
So once you hold up.
Fun.
Yeah, it can be a little glitchy. You can also hit that guy before he even spawns in, which is a little goofy.
You were gonna make that jump.
I know. I didn't mean to do that. I keep thinking that I have quick switches because I'm used to the Complete Works version found on the PlayStation Store.
Ah, I see.
If you want to read out chat for a little bit as we're making the fall for the wire adapter.
Felipe says, Dive Man protects the orange soda canisters in the deep sea.
Sure.
Fanta.
Anyways.
I like Fanta. Ooh, that's a nice little thing I never
It seems like we have a little bit more.
Is there?
Yeah.
Nope, that's it. I read them all.
You sure?
Oh, yeah, you're right. I didn't read these. Well, there's only 1 and 2 that I didn't read. I own the Mega Mix manga. I still have yet to read them.
They're quite good. Read the Mega Mix and Giga Mix comics or mangas. The colored versions are pretty good. If you can find those are have all redone artwork. Yes, you can fall down there and recollect the wire adapter. Not really worth it.
Are you gonna show off the funny thing with the wire adapter and light bridges?
We just beat Ringman stage, and
I
there's
know, just for the fun.
I'm actually gonna be showing that off.
Oh, during the castle, right?
Not really. I don't have anywhere to show that off.
Isn't there a bridge in the castle?
Nope.
I swear there was.
If there is, I'll show it off, but I don't remember there being one, so. And just like that, we are now at Dive Man. We're also going to use an E-Tank real fast, just so we don't take the death.
A part of Dive Man's theme is similar to Airman's.
It is. It is meant as a slight motif.
They say they have the color ones.
Oh, good. Lovely.
Whoa, that is really hard to find.
No. What? No,
in
that's
certain comics.
No, that's a modern release.
Oh, it's a modern release?
It's a modern release.
I didn't know.
They also haven't finished it. While Ariga himself has finished all of the mangas thus far, we are still waiting on a proper release for, I think, 3 of the stories, as well as the Mega Man X version of the in-betweens he did.
Well, then again, I didn't know it was very recent. I didn't know how recent it is.
They're within the last 5 years.
Oh, well then, yeah.
So there's that little glitch there. If you are directly in the center of the room and you will zip up to the center, there is something weird about that. I don't know what causes it, but there you go.
Felipe says, I love the goofy-looking Mega Man when he's using the wire.
All right. Well,
He just looks up.
Jeru also says hello, welcome. So as we're showing off here, here's the wire adapter. I love this. I love this ability. It's just great. Balloon is like an item too, except it's a lot squishier, and I love the animations. We're gonna stop time here. And then switch back to Buster, so we can take care of these guys.
So what did that mean? I was about to make a joke. I was about to say, so doesn't that mean that Brightman is technically has a stand? I know I'm merging two things that shouldn't be merged together, but it's funny.
I mean, there's JoJo references and all sorts of Capcom properties, but no. So we've got Felipe says Foreman Drillman. He technically is a foreman.
But I actually don't know what that is.
So essentially, a foreman is somebody who essentially runs a dig, construction, or build site.
Oh, like Foreman Spike.
Yes, a drillman is intended for construction work as well as mining operations. Quite a useful bot. Most of these bots are very, very useful.
Especially these ones, because they're extremely annoying.
I mean, they're not annoying. They're just a little hassle. See, they're friendly. They give me extra.
They're bugging me.
They're a little hassle. They give me a little friend. They gave me an extra life. They're fun. They're just a hassle.
They're fun.
Yeah, they're fun.
Casey has a big problem with the surveillance box.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, here's a great use for the wire. If you wanted to use the balloon to get up here, you could do that as well. And last but not least, just to showcase how versatile the utilities are, even Rush Coil works.
I just like the little sprite of Mega Man looking up.
Yeah, it's really cute.
He's got like a little chubby chin.
I can't wait to see what that sprite looks like in the Wily in the Sequel Wars variation.
Oh, that's right, because Sequel Wars does 4.
4, 5, and 6. So I should probably mention that there is a fan game being worked on right now for the Sega Genesis called Mega Man: The Sequel Wars. It's not done. While there is 2 demos out for it, they cover Mega Man's 4, 5, and 6, and
just like
all redone on the Genesis.
Just like how the Wily Wars
did 1, 2, and 3. All right. I think this is going to be my final show out for today's video until the very end, but since we are at Drillman and I don't have a whole lot left to talk about in terms of bosses...
Can we talk about his redesign in,
I'll talk about Fully Charged in a second.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's fine.
Fully Charged.
I'd like to recommend people to drop a like and subscribe, because it helps us out with the algorithm, gets more people to see these streams, more people to learn some cool facts. Especially because I've got 3 very different
Oh, that's interesting.
Game Boy games. What's that?
Slide right there.
Yeah, that's the Drillman load zone. That's so he can pop out.
Pretty cool.
Those are replacement sprites. Instead of being a background layer, they're a sprite layer.
Oh.
So that way then you can get the cool tunneling effect from Drillman.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yep. Soma says, oh yeah, Fully Charged is a thing already, forgot. Oh yes, Soma, it absolutely is a thing. Fully Charged is a great show, and Drillman has one of the best redesigns in that show.
He looks exactly the same.
I like it. He's got 2 drill shoulders, he's awesome. There's even a different design for Drillman's quote-unquote father. Essentially an earlier version of Drillman that is rough around the edges, and it's got more of a red designed color, so you get both the orange and the red. But here we have made it to the Cossack Citadel. I love Fully Charged. I can't help but say it. That was something that needed to continue, but it's a shame that it didn't get to, and the more I learn about it, the more I'm just frustrated. Anyways. Regardless of that, we have snow here, and a secret. That was an E-Tank.
Was it now?
Yeah, that was an E-Tank over there.
It's a Slinky.
Yep. They're a toy robot. Essentially a self-moving Slinky.
That somehow manages to hurt Mega Man, don't ask me.
It's equipped with little barbs on it. Yeah, Yeah.
All that's gonna do is scratch up his armor, now that I think about it.
Yeah, but it can degrade, and it's still something.
It's still something. So, while we always talk...
While
we always talk about, you know, robot masters, I don't know why I was gonna say,
So while we're talking
about the robot masters, we don't really talk about what the bots have purposes after the game, because some of them don't come back.
Yeah, they do. Every single bot has a purpose and is repurposed for such.
No, I mean in the next game, is what I mean. I know some of them aren't.
No, all of them. Every single one of them. Every time I'm telling you what their purpose is, that's what they went back to doing after they were destroyed and rebuilt.
Yeah, I know. Never mind.
I'm confused on why you think that I'm not talking about what they're doing in the next game. I'm confused on what you're trying to bring up.
I'm just gonna stop while I'm ahead.
No, please. I want you to elaborate, please.
I don't know how to phrase it. Okay, hold on.
I mean, Cossack comes back in 5 and upgrades the Mega Buster, but...
Okay. So we got Mets, which are... Well...
They're construction robots. They have multiple
their
purposes.
helmets open up to, like, similar to a Eddie?
I mean, they can. They can be a transport bot. There are transport versions. Eddie is based on a Met. Eddie is technically a type of Met.
Alright, that's going on the list.
If you want to count it.
Game Boy colored Mega Man.
No, come on. We can get closer than that.
What do you mean?
If you could read out the chat real fast.
Gotcha. While my eyes are burning. Let me see here. Ruby Spears is so bad it's good, and I love it. Fully Charged is not for me.
Soma, if you would like, please try to get past the first 10 episodes, please. Because the later episodes really do a really good job, and the Boom Studios sequel comic that they made as a pseudo, here's what we were planning to do with a Season 2, is really good. I've met a lot of people who worked on Fully Charged, and... I must say, there was a lot of love that went into that series. So many little references and things that you might not notice on a first watch. So, give Fully Charged a chance. If you could keep reading, it looks like there's quite a bit more.
Yep, getting to it. So one thing I love about this game is that, similarly to Mega Man 9, all the robot weapons are useful, and utilizing them in the castle stages is super satisfying.
It is. Of course, I think that all of the Mega Man games have some really fun weapons. I actually think that if you play while using all the weapons to their fullest, event...
Potential?
To their full potential, you just use them whenever, you actually end up with more fun. And it's a great way to replay things. Mega Man 11 has some of the best weapons in the series, in my honest opinion. 9's weapons are fine. I still don't know how I got a really clean run of 9. 9 is just hard for the sake of being hard. And I can honestly say I prefer 10. But that's just my opinion, and I understand that some people like 9 more. So...
Did Diveman take his missiles out when he got rebuilt, or did he keep it for fun?
Well, the missiles are kept for the purposes of excavation underwater, freeing divers from, trapped rocks. They're not as powerful as the explosions seen in the game.
Because they're not meant to be... They're only meant to break small things. They're not meant to harm or injure.
They're meant to, get rid of landmines in the sea, which did exist and still do.
Spooky?
Yeah, big spooky, because sometimes boats will hit them and just right up explode. They've done a fairly good job at, getting rid of them, but...
Okay, this is just getting unfair.
It's not unfair.
It's unfair.
It's not unfair. Casey, I don't know.
See, Sans Gaming agrees with me.
Well, hello, Sans Gaming. Welcome.
He kept them since he also used them later in the Power Fighters.
Yes, they did. The Power Fighters, though, is also a case of something else. I'll get to show that off in a couple weeks, but...
Power Fighters is fun.
Power Fighters and Power Battles are both really fun.
That
Also,
was weird.
Yep, I've never seen that happen.
Rush was just like, I'm here, Mega. Wait, where did you go?
Well, I mean, seeing as he doesn't actually have a voice.
I still would prefer for him to have, like, an actual regular voice.
I don't.
Why?
Because.
Because of Ruby Spears?
Well, no. Yes. No. Okay. Yes and no.
I'm not talking a Scooby-Doo voice.
He doesn't need a voice. He's a dog.
Still.
Every time we see him, he only does barks. In terms of the games, as well as in Fully Charged, and the comics, the mangas that came out at the time, and let's be real here, Ruby Spears only did that because they were the creators of Scooby-Doo and were mad that they didn't get any royalties or rights to Scooby. That's true, by the way. Jack Ruby and Ken Spears didn't get any royalties from making Scooby-Doo.
Which is stupid, because Hanna-Barbera got all the credit.
Well, Hanna-Barbera didn't work on any of it. It was all those two. Hanna-Barbera was just the studio.
Oh, well then that's just dumb.
But, I mean, the animating team of Hanna-Barbera also didn't work on it. It was all those two. They made most of the very popular shows at the time. From the 60s and 70s.
Rush talking like a person would be cursed. It does exist, though.
It does, but I don't like it.
What is an educational OVA, but still, it kind of just breaks the ice. That actually makes it kind of comfortable.
No. Sorry. Doesn't matter what you say, the OVA is also another reason why I don't want Rush to talk.
How dare you.
Alright, here's a really fun...
He doesn't need a voice, he's a dog, cries in cat.
Oh, come on. Alright, so here we are at the top of the Citadel.
Yeah, you're a cat. You shouldn't be able to talk either.
I'm a YouTuber, I can talk if I want.
Oh, dang.
Anyways, so here's a fun little trick that I'm going to show you guys. If you use the wire, and then get pushed to the edge of the screen.
This is what I was thinking of, by the way. I don't know why I thought it was a bridge.
You're fine, Zenny. So we are quite a ways up. And this is a really goofy thing that I'm only going to show once. And then I hit jump, and then I just wait. I hold right, and I just wait.
Mega Man just hits the ground so hard.
I'm actually holding up and hoping I can hit the ladder. There we go.
Dang.
That was how high up we were, folks.
That was a certified GDQ moment.
That was something silly. Is that a soft lock? Absolutely not. It is just something really neat.
I could see how somebody would think that's a soft lock, to be honest.
Oh yeah, if you don't hit jump, then yeah, it is a soft lock, but that's only because you just haven't hit any buttons. I'm not going to show that off again, but I do have another really cool trick for this stage, with some moving platforms.
Felipe, before that happened, said time to ascend to the heavens.
Boy, oh boy. So now we're going to pause time here, and the platforms don't spawn right.
But their collision is still active, because they technically are still spawning.
But this is how you get some really cool moments. Like, you get to see the full animation for those platforms spawning. Because usually it's just at the edge of the screen and you can barely see it. So.
Which is kind of sad. But I see why they did it too, because you have the loading on the far right of the screen. You can see it with certain palettes and colors being a little buggy.
Yeah, it looks nice, but like you don't get to see the full one unless you use time stop at least once. And here's another little secret. We are actually going to switch to balloon. This is something you can do with Rush Jet, but I don't recommend it. Stand here, spawn balloon, and then once you get high enough, slide. If you fiddle with the balloon too much, and do that just at the right height, you can actually die.
Yep.
Karmic says, Casey, how was your walk?
I don't want to talk about it.
Go ahead and read out.
My ankle is stiff.
Read out the other chat if you want.
Speaking of soft locks, you can kill Wily in this game.
Yes, you can. We're not going to show that off.
Oh, why?
Because I don't want to show off a soft lock.
Why don't we do the one here?
We can do the one here with time stop, but I don't want to do that either.
But you can rewind.
Yeah, I don't want to do it though. It doesn't seem nice.
But funny.
Yes, you could stop time and shoot him, and then the game doesn't register that this boss is destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah, my left ankle is completely, like, it hurts to move it.
I'm sorry. We're gonna take a look at a map after this.
What do you mean?
We're gonna take a look at a map, and I'm gonna show you how your walk home should be instead of.
No.
Yes.
Listen.
Yes.
The only reason why I was going in the wrong direction was because
your phone acts as a compass. When it turns.
Listen. Even though it doesn't turn the little chevron like it's supposed to. It for some reason keeps it locked at north, even if I'm facing south.
Casey, I'm gonna show you the walk.
You don't believe me.
No, I don't. I think you're crazy.
I'm not crazy.
And that's okay. You don't have to believe me, but...
I hate it because it only does that when I choose to walk.
Well, then we're going to fix some things, and I'm going to show you the path that you should take.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting angry at you.
Why? I'm just trying to help.
You are making me seem like a liar.
No, but you're making the walk more complicated than it has to be.
No, no, not. How?
It's literally right up the road. And you spent 4 hours. You spent
because I started walking the wrong direction because my phone was being stupid. I swear to God.
Well, no need to fight with me on it. So here's another great use for the wire here, is this alternate path. So you can go up there to the ladder, but if you've got the wire adapter, you can zip right up there. It is a little bit harder.
Also use rush coil.
It's harder than it looks because of the rounded edge right here. And you know, it looks like a block, but that still throws off the jump height just ever so slightly. So it becomes pixel perfect if you use rush. But then you just fall down and go right over here. We're going to use one drill for another E-Tank because this game likes to hand them out, just like Mega Man 3. In fact, the amount of extra lives and E-Tanks we have is getting a little ridiculous, especially seeing as I've only used one.
We got a lot of people in here. My birthday is coming up. Says Sonic Advance Series fan.
Quill.
Quill, excuse me.
Well, happy early birthday, Quill.
The crab bot says Felipe.
Yes.
I said crab chat.
Crab.
Also, there's another red herring. Those little skull bots.
Yep. And here is the Cossack Catcher. This is a gigantic version of a crane game that was built for Kalinka. But, yeah, no. Cossack is actually really good at the crane game, by the way. This is canon information.
Well, I can see why. I mean, this already looks like a very difficult boss.
Yeah, the busters on the sides are essentially tacked on extras, not necessarily...
I mean, what is Kalinka gonna shoot?
Yeah, her stuffed toys? No. It's been as a giant catcher. But Proto Man saved Kalinka. And Kalinka tells Mega Man that no. Wily forced Proto Man to kidnap Kalinka. And forced Cossack out of bribery to, attack the world, sully his good name. Wily comes in and is like, well, darn it, Proto Man, you're just kind of a traitor now, aren't you? And that is and since that happened, Mega Man 5, Wily frames Proto Man because, like, oh, well, how dare you cross me? Essentially...
He went to space.
Essentially, Wily in 4 and 5... 4 and 5 are all about double crossing, bribery and crossing people that shouldn't be crossed, so. But now we have a lovely stage for the Wily Castle. This is the outside of the sewer system.
Mega Man is so sanitary. Were those jumping nets?
Yes, they were.
Okay.
This stage only uses metals.
Really?
Yes, we have jumping, dancing, walking,
And just-
flying scuba giant respawning Mets.
So this is just a stage meant for me specifically.
So there's a jumping one. There's a walking one. There's a jumping one.
There's a walking and jumping one.
Walking and jumping. Dancing.
This is scary. This is a really scary stage.
What? No.
Do you see the shots that are still on screen?
Ah, they're not that scary. If you could read out the chat real fast.
I was about to get to it. Let's see here. Do be like that. Last week I took the wrong bus to college, says Felipe. I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh boy.
Soma says, don't think you mentioned this, but The Wire is a Bionic Commando reference.
Yes, it is. I should have mentioned that. I am so sorry. I actually forgot that little piece of trivia. Yes, the Wire is in fact a reference to Bionic Commando.
Oh, there's a missing pixel on Rush when you shoot.
Oh, there is. That's weird.
Yeah, hold on. It's a little hard to see.
I see it right next to the helmet.
It hurts.
It's fine.
My little heart can't take it.
The Great Met Parade. Yes, that is actually a huge meme in the Mega Man community, is the Great Met Parade.
What is it?
It is a parade of all of the Mets. It is a joking parade of all of the Mets.
Well, then there you go. I can make a documentation of them just by searching that up.
It is not official, and
it's
also doesn't have all of the official Mets in them. There's a glitch. That block will always push you out like that if you go for it. But just use the wire. Save yourself the headache. And now we are coming to...
Wild that they don't mention that Wily's a zombie.
Wily is not a zombie.
He did not die.
There's a trap door that he escaped through at the end of Mega Man 3. Or if you want to go with...
That's the one where they got crushed, right?
Yeah, we just saw that. If you wanted to actually go with my explanation of things, I like the Ruby Spears explanation that he is saved by the X Foundation and that Mr. X is actually a real guy who supported Wily until his death, at which point Wily takes over the moniker as a disguise, as well as the fortune. That is my own personal... I like this as canon.
Mega Met.
This Big Met, I believe, is called Big Daddy.
It is Big Daddy. But I still like the name Mega Met. It's funny.
We're just gonna use the Dust Crusher. Hope for the best.
Oh, he can stun you.
Yeah.
That is a scary boss. I know essentially it's just a giant Met. Met. But still, that's, like, pretty crazy.
One more E-Tank, so that's 2 E-Tanks this entire run. We're probably gonna use 3, so...
Jaru is laughing so hard right now. They said Big Daddy.
I'm glad they think so. The names for these enemies are a little silly at times.
Just like Mommy Met.
Mommy Met, which is another enemy. That's a real thing.
And then there's Baby Mets.
Yeah.
Well, of course, you call them Mini Mets.
They are mini Mets, that's what they're called.
Really?
Yes.
I've seen the term Baby Met used.
Yeah.
Well, that's fair. They're interchangeable.
They're interchangeable.
Anyways.
Felipe says the Met parent. I suppose. We did see the giant ones earlier on in Mega Man 3, but yeah. This is Mega Man 4, everybody.
The Metal Bunch.
Oh my god, is that a Brady Bunch reference?
Yes.
But at that... Anyways, you always want to do this top one. The middle one, you can kind of do. That bottom one, you will always land in the spikes.
Why don't I just do the bottom one?
Well, you can if you have Rush Jet and fit some very precise movement down there. This, I believe, is going to be our second to last E-Tank of the entire game. I hope the chat's doing quite alright. Tomorrow we're doing Mega Man 3 for Game Boy, so be on the lookout for that.
What B in the E and W tanks? That's a very good question.
The E-Tank's health. Weapon is in W.
Means what's canonically inside them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Battery acid? They run on solar core. I know it's not battery acid.
No, the weapons here are essentially just, I believe it's the materials for the Buster.
Yeah, because it materializes what it can think of that's close to it. Sort of
It matches. It just matches. It doesn't think. The Buster does not have a mind of its own.
No, you know what I mean.
Kind of.
The AI of it
Well,
is working to
it's
what's the most...
just a logic center. Essentially, all it's doing is choosing something very, very similar.
I love how Mega Man agreed with you. It was just like...
The wire is a physical tool. Like, that's not really...
Wire is a physical tool.
That's not something that the Buster just creates. That's an attachment for the Buster. Same with the balloon adapter. So, that's that as far as that's concerned.
Jaru says, and then there's Giga Thomas Pen from Sonic Triple Trouble.
Yeah, no, I'm not going back into Sonic for a little while. I'll be covering the new Sonic.
Sonic?
Oh my God, Casey.
I'm sorry. You see Rock when a mommy met. You see Rock when a mommy met and a Big Daddy love each other very much. That's funny.
They go to the Met dispensary and get a Met out.
Yeah, because there is a Met dispenser. I think that's one of the coolest little mini bosses ever.
Alright, and here is a trash compactor droid. But this guy was repurposed. Once again, another Cossack rope creation. Taken right out of context. You just hit the gem on their forehead.
Do you think some of these bots feel really bad because they're having to fight Mega Man?
Well, some of them...
I know that Plant Man did.
Some of them do. So, the thing is that some bosses do. They absolutely do. But their prime directive has been changed, so they have to follow through with that.
Though they don't want to.
Even if they don't want to.
Which is sad, actually.
However, the bots you see outside of that generally don't have feelings. They don't have that much power in their brains to have feelings or emotions. They are simply doing what they do because that's what they have been told to do.
That's fair. I like Plant Man, though. He's really nice. He's like, I don't want to fight you, Rock.
All right, and we're now...
Am I talking too much?
Well, we're now at the final stage, so we're breezing through this, honestly. The only thing is, I'm starting to get a little lightheaded because I haven't eaten yet today. Going to refill on certain weapons. We're gonna want full drill for this. And E-Tank. So now all we need is more ring and dust. But no, Casey, you're fine. I am just a little lightheaded at the moment, and...
Yeah, I'll make you something to eat after this.
No, I can make it.
Are you sure? Okay.
I just grabbed all of those without thinking. Ring. And dust. Now all I gotta do is fill up on Dust Crusher. Dust Crusher is like... So, if you saw me do Dustman's stage there, that's because Dustman's weapon is actually really powerful. It can hit up to like 3 or 4 times.
Before it dissipates?
Yeah, and it'll take care of most enemies. So if you're struggling through a level and need more firepower, Dust Crusher can definitely help you out, and that stage isn't too bad once you realize you just gotta take it a little slower than other stages. What time is it for you? It's 23:10. It is 5 o'clock for me. 5 in the afternoon. I generally start around 3 and then I go till about 5, so. And then since it's YouTube, all of these streams stay up on the live page, so I don't actually have to... I don't have to worry too much about any of these streams, you know, disappearing or having, you know, any issues with it. I've got other co-hosts too who like to show up sometimes, but a lot of them have been very busy, especially because we're about 2 months away from con season. One of my favorite co-hosts, Artie, who's a really, really good friend of mine, is actually getting married in about 3 months, so she's been busy planning that, so I haven't really had a chance to vibe with any of my other co-hosts, so it's just been me and Casey for most of this.
Plus, I'm not a bad co-host.
You're not a bad co-host, absolutely not. You actually do your own streams too, which helps you understand the flow a little bit better than some people.
Yeah, that's fair. And then you bust into my room and go, "Hey!"
Yeah, pretty much.
You literally pop in and go, "Hey, pizza sauce."
Pretty much. Fox No says, what's up with that silly loop-the-loop weapon? What loop-the-loop weapon? Are you talking about dive missile? It homes in on the nearest enemy. So if Drill Man's underground, he just cannot be hit by it. Oh no.
It's storms! No, I'm kidding.
Oh gosh, we're gonna reference that.
Listen, I like Ruby Spears. Okay, even though it's
Everybody
bad,
who tells me they like it, I'm just like, why?
Because it's funny. It's so stupid. It's funny.
So this right here is the optimal strategy for Brightman. Don't let anyone fool you otherwise.
No, chat. What you're supposed to do is shoot him till he's dead.
And done. Alright.
I might want to play some 4 after this.
That's fine. There are other versions of 4 that I should probably mention. The PlayStation's Complete Works version is really, really cool. Especially because after you've completed a run on Navi mode, as long as you've beaten enough bots in the game, you actually unlock stuff in the shop area. And you would equip up to 2 for Mega Man to use in the stages. Stuff like moving faster, higher charge shot power. And if you've got a pocket station, you can up Mega Man's health bar or the boss's health bars and powers and patterns and stuff. I love the Complete Works versions of these games. Even if I am not showing them off here, I do have a plan for them eventually. I have a copy of each of them, and a PlayStation that works with Japanese games, as well as a pocket station. The only thing is, it's gonna take me a little bit to get get the save files on there. So that'll probably come later on this year. It'll be one run where I do each of the games with max health bars for everybody. And I'll get to pick 2 powers for 4, 5, and 6 to go with it. It'll be a fun, like, stream. It'll probably go for about 8 hours, give or take. Alright, Dustman, please. Please, Dustman.
Dustman!
You know what? No. You get over here, and then we'll talk. There we go.
He said no.
He said no. He said no at all. Karma says boss rush. So, on the topic of bosses, Drillman's weapon is, in fact, Toadman's weakness. I like to save Drillman's weapon for the boss, because it's required.
Well, then again, you don't really...
This is my shortcoming for Mega Man 4, is the weapons. The amount of ammo you get in relation to Toadman and the final boss, because you need Drillman's weapon in order to beat the Wily machine. It is absolutely required. And you have to use it in a specific way, which makes the Legacy Collection version a little bit harder because of the input lag. That's right, the Anniversary Collection, not the Legacy Collection.
I was about to say.
Yeah, no, we're playing the Legacy Collection.
Dissing the Legacy Collection?
I definitely do not diss the Legacy Collection. This version of the game is top-notch, but...
I love how neatly organized everything is in the portraits for the weapons, except for Dustman's weapon.
No, because it reaches out, just like the balloon and the Skullman's weapon.
I know, I just find it funny.
Anyways, And with that,
Dustman really knows how to cheese the system, says Foxino.
yeah, just a little bit. He's trying.
He's cheeky.
He's cheeky.
Just like that.
Now I get to show you guys the funniest oversight ever seen in a Wily boss. Stand here, he'll never hit you.
All of a sudden, just starts moving forward and stomping on you.
No, like, literally, he'll never hit you if you're right here. As long as you time your shot. You have to time your jumps. You have to time your jumps within the 3 shots. So 1, 2, 3, jump. And here's the part where you have to. His weak point is, in fact, that dot. But your bullets don't reach that far. You have to use Drillman's weapon. You have to prematurely detonate it every time. Because if not, the drill weapon's too low to the ground.
And it'll bounce, as you're seeing there.
And then you can't activate it once it bounces.
So it's really tricky, because one, Gavin has to jump, dodge these, and detonate it at the same time. He's overclocking his brain.
I love that we've got Mega Man 11 going on in the chat here. We have Wily always wins there.
I'm done.
So here's the little cheat code. If you use Toadman's weapon here, Wily is destroyed because he technically has a health bar. And then you're stuck on this screen because it never plays the win jingle because that is required on Wily leaving the screen.
Well, guess what? Wily doesn't always win. It's Mega Man.
Well, I mean, that's what you're saying if you're really struggling with these games. You're like, dang it, Wily always freaking wins. Which is something I've said before when I was still learning these games. So, here's your trick for this. Grab a hold of Pharaoh Shot. Charge it up. Just keep sliding. As you notice, the Pharaoh Shot itself needs to zip forward to catch up with me. You can use other weapons through that hallway. I don't really care that much. But you can hit Wily up to 2 times if you have good placement. Hey, now I jumped you.
You're so funny.
And that is a double kill. That happens too.
It's very scary how frequent that can happen too.
Yep. That was a really good Wily pattern. I'm not gonna lie, that was another really good run with an hour and 20 minutes there.
Really?
Yeah, we had about...
Do you have your...
No, like, we're at 2:20 in terms of time for the stream, so if it took about 10 minutes for the credits.
Why did I think that you had live splits up?
Nope. Yep. Nope.
Well, there
Not
goes
doing-
Wily in his damaged pod.
Yep. So he's getting away. And
his
Mega
castle.
and Mega Man has got to head back over to the Light Labs. However, since he's been in Russia the entire time, he has to pass through customs, and he's now going to vouch. And at the end of the game, Mega Man actually has to vouch for Dr. Cossack so he can keep his robotics license, because, believe it or not, he was sanctioned from robotics and under a mild ban. He wasn't allowed to create any new bots for a total of, I think, a year? However, he was supposed to be under the supervision of Dr. Light, which allowed them to create things like Tundra Man. So, we'll probably see more bosses in the future made by Dr. Cossack, even if he's not directly in the games.
There's a couple of them, isn't there?
Mostly just, so far we just have Tundra Man and the 8 from this game. We haven't seen any other ones. Which
He's
is...
made a few of the,
He made a few modifications of Mega Man, like the Charged Buster.
That's true.
But other than that, we don't really see much from Cossack after this.
But he's still an important character to the series.
Absolutely, and so is Kalinka. Mega Man didn't have money for the train ticket, so he's on top. I think it's just a nice visual.
Plus, he does this in the intro.
Yes, he
It
does.
seems like something he does to, like, either just, like, unwind. Because he does let the wind blow in his hair a lot in many of... He does it in 2 as well.
Yeah, well, we'll showcase that when we get there. That'll be next week. But this week we've got Mega Man World 3, which is a Game Boy title, World 1 and 2, which are also Game Boy titles, and that'll be the rest of my week here. I also have something Mario planned later, probably next week. But as far as Mega Man 4 is concerned, that is one of the best NES games I have ever played.
4?
Yeah, 4 is a really good title.
That's why I like it.
5 is like 4, but a little different. 6, I think, mastered that formula, and 4 is like the better version of 3.
Rock goes above the train, so he feels like a rebel.
Oh, gosh. You guys are going to be memeing on that for a little while, I'm sure. But yeah, this is one of my favorites, certainly worthy in my collection, and I do thoroughly enjoy both of these titles. 5 is like 4, but worse level design, and the Buster is too OP. I can see that, Soma, but the weapons in 5 are so much fun for me. Actually, if you want, the Mega Man 5 and 6 playthroughs are still up on the channel.
Yeah.
They're on the live section, along with every other stream I've ever done. I've done 300 of these now. I'm getting close to 400 streams.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Celebration?
Eventually. Once I hit 1,000, probably. Okay.
That's tricky.
But yeah, no, I like 5 and 6. 5's a little bit lackluster, but I think that was mostly because they didn't really know what they were doing. Because after 4, they had basically exhausted most of their ideas for the NES. 5 was more of that, and then 6 they decided, well, then why don't we just tell a story? So 6 and 7 kind of made a plot and realized, oh, yeah, Mega Man's one of those series where I feel like, plot-wise, despite there being so many games, there's very few contradictions. Oh, Stone Man's weapon. Absolutely, Soma. I love Stone Man's weapon. I love using it. I used it all over the place in our playthrough.
Yeah, you did. There was no stopping Gavin.
Yeah, I know.
He slaughtered everything that was in his path.
But just like that, Mega Man 4 is done. And I will see you guys tomorrow with Mega Man 3 for Game Boy. Any other thoughts, Casey, before we close out here?
Nope.
Alright. Soma, you watch the playthrough, give me your thoughts. And then come back to me. Give it a shot. But yeah, that's it for me. I have been your humble host, Gavin the Kitty, and if you guys enjoyed this content, please subscribe, drop a like, follow me on Twitter at GavinDragonYT. You can also donate to the channel if you so wish. It's always appreciated. There will be stuff on your screen once this video gets done processing. And if I could if you liked all the trivia here, I've got a lot more planned in the future, as well as already have a ton of lore analysis for the Mega Man series done in the Ultimate Guide to Mega Man's Part 1 and 2. Go check out those videos. And with all that being said, I've been your humble host. Good night, everybody.